Have you ever felt like you're constantly performing for an audience that never quite approves? Like you're running a race where the finish line keeps moving further away? There's a profound exhaustion that comes from living your life through others' eyes, a weariness that sleep cannot cure, an emptiness that no amount of external validation can fill. What if I told you that the Buddha discovered this truth 2,500 years ago, sitting beneath a Bodhi tree, and that his wisdom could free you from these invisible chains today? What if the love, approval, and validation you've been desperately seeking from others have been quietly waiting within you all along, like a forgotten treasure buried in your own backyard? Part 1: The Merchant's Mirror, an ancient story of self-discovery. In ancient India, there lived a wealthy merchant named Ananda who possessed everything: golden palaces, overflowing granaries, servants who anticipated his every need. Yet each morning, he would wake with a gnawing emptiness, a hunger that no feast could satisfy. His days were consumed with seeking approval from the nobility, validation from holy men, and admiration from common folk. He donated lavishly to temples, not from devotion, but to hear his name praised. He threw grand feasts, not from generosity, but to see envy in others' eyes. One scorching afternoon, exhausted from yet another performance of generosity designed to impress visiting dignitaries, Ananda encountered an old monk sitting peacefully beneath a tree. The monk possessed nothing but a worn robe and a wooden bowl, yet his face radiated a contentment that made Ananda's gold seem dull by comparison. "How can you be so peaceful with nothing?" Ananda asked, unable to hide his frustration. "I have everything, yet I am restless. I give constantly, yet feel empty. People praise me, yet I am never satisfied." The monk smiled gently. "Come, let me show you something." He led Ananda to a still pond and asked him to look at his reflection. "What do you see?" "Myself, of course," Ananda replied impatiently. "Now," said the monk, throwing a handful of pebbles into the water, "what do you see?" As the ripples distorted his image into unrecognizable fragments, Ananda whispered, "Nothing clear, just broken pieces." "This," the monk said softly, "is what happens when you let others' opinions disturb your inner stillness. Each pebble is someone else's judgment, someone else's validation you seek. The more you allow these external forces to ripple through your consciousness, the less you can see your true self. But watch." They waited in silence as the water gradually stilled, and Ananda's reflection returned, clear and whole. "Your true worth," the monk continued, "is like this pond when undisturbed. It exists completely and perfectly, needing nothing from outside to validate its existence. The water doesn't beg the pebbles to make it valuable. It simply is." Part 2: The Modern Mirror, Sarah's Social Media Awakening. Fast forward to present-day Los Angeles, where Sarah, a talented graphic designer, found herself in a strikingly similar prison, though her chains were made of likes, comments, and follows rather than gold and admiration. Every morning, she'd check her phone before her feet touched the floor, her mood for the entire day determined by the engagement on her posts from the night before. 50 likes felt like failure. 100 felt merely adequate. She'd delete posts that didn't perform well within the first hour, as if erasing evidence of her unworthiness. Her creative work, once a source of joy and flow, had become a desperate performance for an invisible jury that never quite delivered the verdict she craved. The breaking point came during a client presentation. She'd poured her soul into an innovative design campaign, but instead of feeling proud, she found herself frantically refreshing her email, desperate for immediate validation. When the client asked for time to consider, Sarah spiraled. She interpreted their pause as rejection, their thoughtfulness as disapproval. That night, she couldn't sleep, composing and recomposing follow-up emails, each one more desperate than the last. At 3 a.m., exhausted and defeated, she remembered something her grandmother, a practicing Buddhist, had once told her: "Darling, you're not a smartphone that needs constant charging from external sources. You're the sun, your light comes from within." Part 3, the sacred teaching of inner radiance, understanding your inherent worth. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from tanha, literally translated as thirst or craving. But this isn't just about desiring material things. The deepest, most painful thirst is for validation, for proof that we matter, that we're worthy of taking up space in this world. We become addicted to external confirmation like a plant trying to photosynthesize by streetlight, forgetting it has the sun. In the Dhammapada, Buddha states, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." Notice he didn't say you need to earn this deservingness. You don't need to achieve it, prove it, or have others confirm it. It simply is, as natural and inherent as your heartbeat. Think about a newborn baby. Does it need to accomplish anything to be worthy of love? Does it need to earn its right to exist? Of course not. That inherent worth doesn't disappear as we grow. We simply forget it, buried under layers of conditioning that tell us we must perform, achieve, and please to matter. When you understand this truth deeply, something profound shifts. You stop being a beggar in your own life, constantly holding out your bowl for scraps of approval. You realize you've been sitting on a throne all along, wearing a crown you forgot was there. Part 4, the art of sacred boundaries, protecting your inner temple. Don't forget to subscribe to the Buddha Coha channel for more transformative Buddhist wisdom that can change your daily life. There's an ancient Zen story about a master who was approached by a student carrying 2 heavy buckets of water. The student complained about the weight, the distance, and the unfairness of the task. The master simply said, "Put them down." "But the temple needs water," the student protested. "The temple needs water," the master agreed, "but it doesn't need you to carry everyone else's buckets along with your own." This is the essence of boundaries, understanding that saying no to what drains you is saying yes to what sustains you. In Buddhist philosophy, this isn't selfishness, it's wisdom. The middle way teaches us to avoid extremes, and constantly sacrificing your well-being for others' comfort is just as extreme as complete self-centeredness. Consider how often you've said yes when your whole being screamed no. That uncomfortable dinner with people who consistently disrespect you. That favor for someone who only contacts you when they need something. That relationship where you give endlessly but receive only crumbs. Each yes that betrays your inner truth is a small abandonment of self, a tiny betrayal that accumulates into a profound disconnection from your own worth. Part 5, the modern boundary builder, Marcus's transformation. Marcus was everyone's go-to person. Need someone to cover your shift? Call Marcus. Need a loan you'll never repay? Marcus won't say no. Need someone to listen to your problems for 3 hours while never asking about his day? Marcus is your man. He wore his availability like a badge of honor, believing that being needed meant being valued. But there's a profound difference between being valued and being used, between being loved and being convenient. Marcus couldn't see this distinction because he was too afraid that saying no would mean being alone. The awakening came during his mother's birthday dinner. He'd spent the entire week helping others, driving a coworker to appointments, helping a neighbor move, listening to his ex-girlfriend's relationship problems with her new partner. By the time his mother's celebration arrived, he was so depleted he could barely stay present. While his family shared stories and laughter, Marcus sat there like a ghost, physically present but emotionally bankrupt. His young niece tugged on his sleeve. "Uncle Marcus, why do you look so sad?" The innocent question shattered something inside him. He realized he'd been so busy being everything to everyone that he'd become nothing to himself. He'd confused being drained with being valuable, mistaking depletion for love. That night, Marcus made a decision that would change everything. He started small, declining a request to help someone move on his only day off. The world didn't end. The person found another solution. Marcus used that day to rest, to read, to remember what his own laughter sounded like. Part 6: The Energy Economics of the Soul, Understanding Your Spiritual Currency. Imagine you wake each morning with exactly 100 coins of emotional energy. These aren't ordinary coins, they're the currency of your soul, the fuel for your dreams, creativity, peace, and joy. Now, observe how you spend them. 20 coins on replaying an argument with someone who doesn't even remember it. 15 coins on crafting the perfect response to a criticism from a stranger online. 30 coins on maintaining a friendship that consistently leaves you feeling diminished. 25 coins on proving your worth to people who've already decided you're not enough. 10 coins on worrying about what others think about choices that don't affect them. By noon, you're spiritually bankrupt, running on fumes, wondering why life feels so heavy. But what if you spent those coins differently? 20 coins on morning meditation that grounds you in your inherent worth. 30 coins on creative work that lights up your soul. 25 coins on relationships that reciprocate your energy. 15 coins for learning something that expands your mind. 10 coins on the rest that restores your spirit. The Buddha taught about right effort, not just working hard, but directing our energy wisely. He understood that our life force isn't infinite. Like a lamp's oil, it must be replenished and protected. When we pour our oil into broken vessels, toxic relationships, futile arguments, others' opinions, we're left sitting in darkness, wondering why we can't see our way forward. Part 7: The Practice of Mindful Detachment, Freedom Through Letting Go. There's a profound Buddhist teaching about the two arrows of suffering. The first arrow is the initial pain, someone's harsh words, a rejection, a disappointment. This arrow is often unavoidable, it's part of the human experience. But the second arrow? That's the one we shoot at ourselves through rumination, through rehearsing the hurt, through building elaborate mental cases about why we were wronged. The first arrow might sting for a moment. The second arrow, the one we inflict through our attachment to the pain, can wound us for years. Mindful detachment doesn't mean not caring, it means caring from a place of centeredness rather than desperation. It's the difference between holding something gently in an open palm versus clutching it so tightly your knuckles turn white. What you hold lightly can stay or go without destroying your peace. What you grip desperately will cause suffering whether it stays or leaves. Part 8: Rebecca's Journey from People-Pleasing to Inner Peace. Rebecca learned this lesson in the most unexpected place, a silent meditation retreat she'd attended only because her friend canceled last minute and the deposit was non-refundable. For 7 days, she couldn't speak, couldn't check her phone, couldn't perform her usual role as the helpful, agreeable, always available friend. The first 3 days were torture. Without the constant validation of others' approval, Rebecca felt like she was dissolving. Who was she if not the one who always said yes? Who was she if not defined by others' needs? The silence forced her to sit with these questions, to face the uncomfortable truth that she'd never actually asked herself what she wanted, what she needed, what brought her joy independent of others' reactions. On the 4th day, something shifted. In the morning meditation, as she watched her breath come and go without her conscious effort, a realization dawned. She existed, complete and whole, without doing anything, without proving anything, without earning anything. Her worth wasn't a performance review that needed constant updating. It was a fact, as simple and undeniable as the sunrise. When the retreat ended and she returned to her regular life, everything looked different. The friend who only called when she needed something. Rebecca let those calls go to voicemail. The family member who consistently crossed boundaries. She responded with loving firmness, "I care about you, but I can't help with that." The social obligations that drained her. She declined with a simple, "That doesn't work for me," no elaborate excuse required. Some people were angry. Some accused her of changing, of being selfish. But others, the ones who truly valued her, respected her boundaries and, surprisingly, seemed to value her presence even more. When you stop giving yourself away freely, people begin to recognize your worth. When you treat your energy as sacred, others learn to do the same. Part 9. The Ripple Effect of Self-Respect. How your inner world shapes your outer reality. If this message resonates with you, remember to subscribe to the Buddha Coha channel and hit the notification bell. Your journey to inner peace deserves consistent nourishment. There's a mysterious but undeniable law in the universe. We teach others how to treat us through how we treat ourselves. When you constantly abandon your needs for others' comfort, you're sending a clear message: my needs don't matter. When you over-explain your boundaries, you're communicating, I don't really have the right to set these limits. When you tolerate disrespect, you're announcing, this is acceptable. But when you begin to honor your own worth, something almost magical happens. The universe responds to your new frequency. People who thrived on your lack of boundaries suddenly find you difficult and drift away, and that's not loss, it's liberation. Meanwhile, people who respect themselves are drawn to your new energy like moths to a flame. You attract what you are, not what you want. The Buddha spoke of karma not as punishment or reward, but as the simple law of cause and effect. When you plant seeds of self-respect, you harvest relationships that honor you. When you plant seeds of self-abandonment, you harvest relationships that abandon you, too. The garden of your life reflects the seeds you're planting moment by moment. Part 10. The Sacred Practice of Saying No, Your Spiritual Activism. In our culture, no has become almost taboo, especially for those raised to be accommodating. But in Buddhist philosophy, a mindful no is as sacred as a compassionate yes. The Buddha himself said no to the extreme asceticism that was destroying his body, no to the indulgent palace life that numbed his spirit, no to teachings that didn't resonate with truth. Your no is not a rejection of others, it's an affirmation of your truth. Every time you say no to what depletes you, you say yes to what energizes you. Every no to toxicity is a yes to peace. Every no to being undervalued is a yes to your inherent worth. Consider the last time you said yes when you meant no. Feel into that moment, the constriction in your chest, the sinking feeling in your stomach, the subtle sense of self-betrayal. Your body knew the truth even as your mouth spoke the lie. Our bodies are constantly communicating our authentic truth. We've simply learned to override these signals in favor of social approval. Part 11, David's Story, the executive who found power in stillness. David was a high-powered executive who built his identity on being indispensable. His phone was always on, his door always open, his calendar always full. He prided himself on being the first to arrive and the last to leave, on always having the answer, and on never saying no to a request. But success built on the foundation of self-abandonment is like a house built on sand. The waves of burnout were inevitable. David's breaking point came during what should have been his daughter's piano recital. He was there physically, front row, center seat. But mentally, he was in 3 different meetings, solving 5 different problems, none of which were actually his to solve. When his daughter looked at him from the stage and he realized he'd missed her entire performance while staring at his phone, something cracked open inside him. That night, he couldn't sleep. The Buddha's words, which his yoga teacher had shared months ago, suddenly made sense. The trouble is, you think you have time. David had been living like his worth was a stock price that needed constant monitoring and intervention. He'd forgotten that some things, like his presence, his peace, his relationship with his daughter, weren't metrics to be optimized but moments to be experienced. He started small. 1 evening a week, phone off completely. No emergencies were so urgent that they couldn't wait until morning. Then, he stopped attending meetings where his presence wasn't essential. He stopped rescuing projects that others should handle. He stopped being everyone's solution. His team, surprisingly, became stronger. When he stopped hovering, they stepped up. When he stopped being available 24/7, they learned to solve problems independently. His daughter, who had grown used to competing with his phone for attention, slowly began to trust that when Dad was present, he was actually present. Part 12, The Wisdom of Emotional Boundaries, Protecting Your Inner Sanctuary. The Buddha often spoke of the mind as a garden. What you allow to enter this garden, what thoughts you water, what seeds you plant, determines what grows. When you allow others' negativity, judgments, and chaos unlimited access to your mental space, you're essentially letting them plant weeds in your garden. Emotional boundaries aren't walls that shut others out, they're gates that allow conscious choice about what enters. They're the difference between a garden and a dumping ground. When someone approaches with gossip, criticism, or energy that doesn't align with your peace, you have the sovereign right to say, "Not in my garden." This doesn't require rudeness or aggression. Like a skilled gardener who gently redirects water away from delicate seedlings, you can redirect conversations and connections that threaten your inner peace. I'm not the right person for this conversation. I need to protect my energy right now. Let's talk about something that uplifts us both. Part 13, The Transformation Process, From External Seeking to Inner Knowing. The journey from external validation to inner worth isn't a light switch, it's a sunrise, gradual and inevitable once you turn toward the east. There will be moments of doubt, times when the old patterns feel easier than the new path. This is natural. The Buddha himself faced Mara, the demon of temptation, even after his enlightenment. Start where you are, with what you can manage. Week 1, Notice without judgment. When do you seek validation? When do you abandon yourself for others' approval? Simply observe, like a scientist gathering data. Week 2, pause before responding. When someone makes a request, ask for time to consider. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. This pause creates space for your truth to emerge. Week 3, practice one small no daily. Decline the meeting that's not essential. Skip the social event that drains you. Say no to the second helping you don't want. Build your no muscle gradually. Week 4, redirect your validation seeking inward. Before posting on social media, ask yourself, do I like this? Does this express my truth? Before seeking others' opinions, check in with your own wisdom first. Part 14, the ultimate teaching, you are already whole. Here's the ultimate paradox that the Buddha understood: the very seeking of validation proves you already have worth, because only something valuable would seek to confirm its value. A rock doesn't question if it's a rock. A river doesn't seek permission to flow. Only humans, in their beautiful complexity, forget their inherent nature and seek outside what already exists within. The Vietnamese Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, "To be beautiful means to be yourself. You don't need to be accepted by others. You need to accept yourself." This isn't just poetry, it's practical wisdom. When you accept yourself fully, others' acceptance becomes a bonus, not a necessity. When you validate your own worth, others' validation becomes appreciation, not addiction. When you fill your own cup, others' contributions become abundance, not survival. Part 15, the closing circle, your sacred commitment to yourself. As our journey together draws to a close, imagine yourself sitting beneath that same Bodhi tree where the Buddha found enlightenment. Feel the solid earth beneath you, supporting you without judgment. Feel the air entering and leaving your lungs, sustaining you without you having to earn it. Feel the sun warming your skin, giving its light freely, not because you deserve it, but because that's simply what the sun does. You are like that sun, inherently radiant, inherently worthy, inherently whole. Others' opinions are like clouds that might temporarily obscure your light, but they can never extinguish it. Your worth isn't a wage to be earned but a birthright to be remembered. The Buddha's last words before his death were, "Work out your own salvation with diligence." Notice he didn't say, "Work out others' salvation," or "Wait for others to save you." Your liberation from the prison of external validation is your work, your journey, your victory. Final blessing, the path forward. May you remember that your worth is not a question but a statement. May you trust that saying no to others' demands is saying yes to your own soul. May you understand that boundaries are not barriers but bridges to authentic connection. May you realize that your energy is sacred currency to be invested wisely, not scattered carelessly. May you know, deep in your bones, that you are enough, have always been enough, will always be enough. The Buddha taught that there are only two mistakes one can make along the road to truth: not going all the way, and not starting. You've started by reading these words. Now, the path stretches before you, lit by your own inner light. Remember, you don't need anyone's permission to value yourself. You don't need anyone's approval to set boundaries. You don't need anyone's validation to know your worth. You are the author of your own story, the guardian of your own peace, the sovereign of your own soul. If this message has touched your heart, please subscribe to the Buddha Coha channel. Share this video with someone who needs to remember their inherent worth. Your sharing might be the reminder someone needs to stop seeking outside what already exists within. Together, We can create a community of souls who understand that true worth comes from within, that boundaries are sacred, and that our energy is too precious to waste on those who don't see our light. As the Buddha himself said, thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. Your journey to self-worth doesn't diminish others. It lights the way for them to find their own inner radiance. When you stop begging for love and start being love, when you stop seeking worth and start knowing worth, when you stop performing for approval and start living from truth, you become a beacon for others to do the same. The temple of your soul doesn't need external decoration to be sacred. It doesn't need others' worship to be holy. It simply needs you to remember what you've always been: divine, worthy, and absolutely enough. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you, the light that needs no external fuel, the light that you are.